Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a video that I have been wanting to do for about, I don't know, 3 weeks or so is probably when I got this idea. And I actually got this idea when the beauty community was up in flames, which to this day I still don't really understand the full extent of what was going on, but I just know that there was some drama going on. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk good about the beauty community because I think the beauty community is a great place if you let it be. You can also let it be a really crappy place, but it's all how you look at it, you know? Like, makeup is supposed to be fun, beauty is supposed to be fun, and I think the beauty community gets a bad rap, to be honest, because there's gonna be crappy people in every area of the world, and there's gonna be good people in every area of the world, but just about using your judgment to decipher between the good and the bad, and just moving on with your life, and just being happy, and just like, anyways, I don't want to get into that, but I was like, you know what, I want to talk about the beauty community like all throughout the years, because it's been like, how long have we been doing YouTube videos for? Like 12 years is kind of about when YouTube started, like 12 years ago, and there's been so many products that have come in and out of the beauty community. But one thing that I always have found really interesting is that there's some products in the beauty community that just define it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just those certain products that we all grabbed onto as beauty influencers, and we just thought that they were the best products of all time, and we all had them, we all used them, and we all just thought that they were so fantastic, and we all just needed these specific products. And I just feel like there's these products that just define the community. But this video is supposed to be just fun, and it's supposed to be lighthearted. You don't have to agree with these things, but don't take this video like super seriously. It's just supposed to be kind of a funny, fun video. And I actually left out a bunch of products. Like, I could think of products right off the top of my head that aren't gonna be in this video. And I want you guys to comment down below some of the products that you think define the beauty community, that you maybe bought because of the beauty community. The first product on the list is actually a product that I still to this day don't know how this got so big. And to this day, like, I bought into this product 110%, but I still to this day don't know why, because it didn't do anything really for me. I mean, I think it helped some people, but it was just one of those products where it just hooked on and we all just loved it. And that is the Mint Julep face mask. Do you remember that thing? Like, they still sell it, I'm pretty sure, but people don't talk about it like they used to. But like back in the 2010 days, before face masks and sheet masks and stuff like that got really big, like the only mask that you could really find in the drugstore was the Mint Julep face mask. And we jumped on that thing so fast. And to be honest, I think the reason we like this product so much is because it just felt like we were pampering ourselves. We felt like we were doing good things for our skin, and we probably were. But to this day, I don't recall really what that product did to my skin. It's just one of those products I feel like that got really, really popular, but for reasons I don't know. Next up is a product that was huge in like the 2010, 2011, 2012 days, and we used them in almost every single makeup tutorial that we ever did. Like, you can go back to those days and watch the makeup tutorials from those days, and I guarantee you 90% of them will start off with a NYX Jumbo pencil, specifically Milk or Black Bean. But every single tutorial started out with a jumbo pencil, which I think is so funny because like nobody really uses them now. They're good for like if you're doing like a really dramatic look, or if you're doing like a Halloween look, or you want your colors to pop a lot, but like nobody really uses them for every day. But back in the day, we used to use them for every tutorial that we did, pretty much, until some other primers came out. I think the reason why we liked them so much back in the day is because it was a new technique that was new to us, you know what I mean? And one thing, actually looking back at it, when I look back at the old beauty community, and one thing I miss about it is the fact that I feel like we were all learning together, which I don't feel like that's the case now. I feel like we've all really grown as makeup artists, and we're all really, really good at our craft now, but I feel like when we all first started, there was like a few people that were really good that were kind of teaching us all, and we were all like kind of new, and we were all learning, and we were all growing together as a community. And that's something that I think is really cool about the old like beauty community days, is we all weren't that good at makeup. I mean, we were good and decent, but there was so much stuff we were learning, and we were all learning it together. And I think the NYX Jumbo pencils and stuff was a definite like product that we were just so amazed by at the time, because it was like, oh, you put a like white base and it really makes your eyeshadows pop, you know, like that's so cool. And so we just used the heck out of them, and then we kind of moved past that trend. But it was definitely one of those trendy things. Next up is something I think is really interesting that passed, and this was something that was huge, and I think this is one of the things that got so many people into makeup back in the day, but it's not really a thing now, and that is MAC collections. And I don't know if you guys remember, like back in the day, like when a new MAC collection came out, everybody would go buy it. Like you would go to the MAC store and you would have to go see what the new collection was, and then you'd buy like 2 products from it, or 3, or however many, and you were just so excited for the MAC collection to come out and then be like the first to own part of the MAC collection. And it was always like, what MAC collection is gonna be next? And even to this day, I have stuff from like the To the Beach collection. The MAC collections were such a big thing in the beauty community for a while, and I think that's really what got people so into collecting makeup, was those collections. And they just kind of faded away, and to be honest, sometimes I think it's because it was just too hard to keep up on. Like people couldn't spend that amount of money so often. Like I think people just got tired of like feeling like they kept having to go to MAC and like buy the new collection, so it just kind of like faded out. But it really was a huge thing like back in 2009, 2010. It was like, what MAC collection's coming out next, and then you have to be the first one at the store to buy it. Next up is the famous NARS Orgasm Blush. And this is one of those products to this day, and I've actually thought this about this blush for as long as I've been on YouTube, but I still bought it anyways because it was NARS Orgasm, and you had to own NARS Orgasm because everybody did, and it was just so hyped. But to this day, I still don't understand the hype. Like it's a pretty color, it's like a pink with like a gold like flux to it, and it's really pretty, but I don't think that it's like extraordinary. And to be honest, I think it's one of those blushes that only looks good on like certain people and certain skin tones. Like not everybody can wear NARS Orgasm, but it's just one of those blushes that just skyrocketed thanks to the beauty community. And I think if the beauty community wasn't around, I don't think NARS Orgasm would have been that as popular as it was, if that makes sense. Like honestly, I think that's probably one of the main products in this whole entire video, is that blush alone. Like that blush defines the community. Like it was just that blush that you had to go buy, and if you didn't have it, like who were you? It was like that feeling of like you started YouTube videos and you're like, you know what, I have to go through my initiation process. I have to go to Sephora, I have to chuck out 40 bucks for this blush, or else who am I? Who am I? I'm nobody. Honestly though, that's kind of how it felt sometimes with certain products back in the day. Like if you didn't start your makeup tutorials out with the Milk Jumbo pencil or the Painterly paint pot, like you were on top of your game. Next up is the famous, and I remember when these got big. I remember it very clearly because Michelle Phan used one in her makeup tutorial, one of her makeup tutorials, and everyone was like, what is that? And we all went out and bought them after that, and it was the EOS lip balms with the little ball thing. And I remember nobody used them in their makeup tutorials until Michelle Phan used one in one video, and then we just all went crazy. And we all started buying them out. We'd buy all their new like smells or scents, and we were just all obsessed with these EOS lip balms. And then when we were like over it, because we just kind of got used to it and they weren't like new and unique anymore, like we all just kind of like faded away and we like never used them anymore. But it was like one of those products that were like new and different and unique, and so we all jumped on that train. And don't get me wrong, I still like EOS occasionally. Sometimes I think it's a little bit waxy, but it was just one of those products that we all just jumped on board thanks to Michelle Phan. So Michelle Phan, you made EOS. Okay, so the next 2 products, the Urban Decay Primer Potion and the Too Faced Shadow Insurance. And the thing about these 2 products is it was like you were one or the other. And it was like a team thing. Like you were either Too Faced Shadow Insurance or the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I was always an Urban Decay Primer Potion girl. But there were some people that were like all about the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, and you were like always one or the other. And there was other primers in the world. Like these weren't the only brands that had primers at the time, but for some reason, these 2 primers, the Urban Decay Primer Potion and the Too Faced Shadow Insurance, it was like one or the other. Like you always started out your makeup looks with one of these primers. So this next product I think is really interesting because this product specifically, I don't think would have gotten as big if it wasn't for the beauty community. And I think that this is a really interesting one because this shows, I think, how important the beauty community can be, because I think that we don't realize how much information that we actually get from the beauty community. And that product is the Beauty Blender. And I think the Beauty Blender is one of those things that if it wasn't for us, nobody would know how to use it. properly. I think it would have been one of those products that probably professionals used a lot, but you know, the general public wouldn't, or they would use it wrong, or they wouldn't know how to use it, or they would just stick to brushes. Because I remember before the Beauty Blender came out, everybody used the Sigma like HD synthetic brushes. Do you remember those? They all came in different shapes. Like there was the flat one, the diagonal one, and everyone used those. And everyone knew how to apply, you know, foundation with brushes. But then this Beauty Blender came out. And I think that if it wasn't for the beauty community jumping on board with the Beauty Blender and using it and showing how to use it, I just don't think the Beauty Blender would have taken off. Because I think it's really interesting, because I do think the beauty community does have, you know, that power to really like spring a product into success, because people just wouldn't know how to use them otherwise. And I think that the Beauty Blender is the perfect example of being successful from us. Because I think it could have been successful, but not as successful. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just kind of think that the beauty community had a big hand in the success of that product. So the next product is something that I think we all felt like we wanted to buy, because I think that this is one of those products that was in like every makeup tutorial, and you just wanted this one single brush. And it was from MAC, and it was the 224. And I just always remember every tutorial that you would watch, it would be like, and then I'm going to take my MAC 224 and blend it out. And then I'm going to take my blending brush, the MAC 224, and then you want to take the 224 and blend it. And it was always the 224 by MAC that you blended the eyeshadow with, and it was like that big fluffy one. It was like this one kind of, you know, like that big fluffy blending brush. And then Sigma came out with one, I can't remember what it was, like the E something. And so we started using that one, but it was like the same shape as the MAC 224, but the MAC 224 was like the first, and everybody wanted that one brush to blend their eyeshadow. And I remember that that was the one single brush that I wanted to buy from MAC. If I was going to buy any one, it was going to be that specific one. And I just feel like you look back at those old tutorials by anyone, any of the big, you know, YouTubers back then, and the MAC 224 was in their videos. Next up is something that I think is really interesting, because I think that this is one of those products, again, were similar to the EOS lip balms in the fact that it was unique and different, and so we all jumped on board. But the thing about this product is it doesn't work for everyone, but everyone wanted it to work for them. And that is the Ben Nye Banana Powder. And I remember when this got super big and everybody started using it on YouTube, and it was like the first powder that we would use for baking, I remember, for a while. And then people started using like the air spun and things like that. But I remember when the banana powder just like blew up on YouTube, but then people started to suddenly realize like, wait a second, this doesn't work for everybody. You know, I think that the banana powder works well for like certain skin tones, like Kim Kardashian skin tones, but like if I tried to use the banana powder, it just wouldn't work on my skin. Then we moved to like translucent powders, like the air spun, which is another product that I think the beauty community really grasped onto. But yeah, the banana powder, which is funny because you just don't think about the banana powder anymore, but it was really big there for a while. Next up is another one of those competition products, like the Too Faced Shadow Insurance and the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and that is the NARS Laguna Bronzer and the Benefit Hula Bronzer. Those two bronzers, I feel like, are the bronzers of YouTube. That and the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. And I remember buying both and thinking they were very, very similar, but like, I just felt like those two bronzers, like, you had to have. I still love both of them. I think they're both beautiful colors, and I can see why those two bronzers got big, because they're just nice bronzers. But it's just interesting because for a very long time at the beginning, those were the two bronzers and contours that you would always buy and you would always see in videos and stuff like that. But then a lot of other things came out, like palettes, like the Kat Von D palette. And then that brings me to my next and last product, which I know there's a ton of products that could go in this video, a ton. I'm just kind of like skimming over some. I don't want to make this video too long. But the very last product I want to talk about, and this is just like one of the #1 product that defines the beauty community, and that is Coastal Scents palettes, the 88 palettes, with all the colors, the rainbow palettes, the neutral palettes, the BH Cosmetics palettes were the same. It was like Coastal Scents or BH, but you always had one, and you always used them for like really bright, crazy looks, because you didn't want to spend a ton of money on like a bunch of MAC colors that were crazy, so you just go buy a Coastal Scents and you just do like these crazy colors. And to be honest, sometimes I still pull mine out, like when it's Halloween or something and I just need like a matte yellow and I don't own a matte yellow, I will go to my Coastal Scents and I'll just bust out like the matte yellows in there or the matte greens or something like that, because they are helpful when you're trying to do creative looks. But I do remember that everyone kind of started with those palettes, and then kind of like Morphe would come out, and I remember that got really big, but the first ones were the Coastal Scents and the BH. And then the BH ones that came apart, and there was like a ton, like how many was like 160 or something? Those ones were humongous, I remember, and I never got one of those. But yes, I do feel like those Coastal Scents palettes were just the beauty community, 2010 era, and then like the Warm palette came out and it was all neutral colors, like 88 neutral colors, like dream. So that is it, you guys. I know that there's a million other products that could go in this video. Like I could look at my makeup collection right now and name like 7 more, but I wanted to keep this video a little bit on the short side, and I wanted to keep a lot of products out so you guys could comment down below what products you think define the beauty community, products you think got really big because of the beauty community, or even products that got really big that you still to this day don't understand why. And let me know down below, because I think this is going to be a really fun discussion, and I just wanted to make this video because I thought it would be really, really funny and really interesting. So anyways, guys, don't forget to enjoy the beauty community for what it is. Don't forget to watch these videos with a grain of salt and know that it's just YouTube, it's just makeup, and it's just fun. And if you don't trust somebody in the beauty community, you don't have to watch them. Go find the people that you find trustworthy. Go find people that make you happy. Go find people that you think are genuine and watch those people. And they can have 2,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers. There's so many people out there to watch, and don't limit yourself to people that you don't think are genuine, good, kind-hearted people. And then keep it at that. It doesn't have to be that complicated, you know? So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!